and talk a little louder.
What type of kinship or connection do you feel from these relationships with people from Africa, with your friends from Africa?
Well, I grew up, of course, in an African neighborhood, so even beginning, that was all I knew, learning to know and love my own people. And then as I continued to grow up, I became associated with people from Africa and places where they were all displaced in Nicaragua and the Virgin Islands and Dominican Republic. And when I went to the seminary, I worked with, African students. I kept them, in the house and took them around, and I did Bible study with them. And so I not only got to appreciate the African background, I was a privilege to be with people that had been deposited from Africa in other areas, so that I really got a good, very relevant, expounded kind of understanding.
The last question that we're going to go back to. What role do healers like yourself play in the life of the Black community? What role do healers like yourself play in the life of the Black community?
Spiritual healers.
What role do spiritual healers like yourself play in the life of the Black community?
Playing, that word playing, kind of gets me a little bit, because it's like I became a part of the Black community. I finally believed what my mom had told me, that I was as good as anybody else, and so I was always very comfortable with the poorest of the poor in the Black community. Very comfortable and very much acceptive of the fact that they were just as good or better than I was, and having them around, to look after them. And I'm very comfortable in the so-called upper class in the Black community. It was just one, so far as I was concerned. We were all one.
You should have a couple more questions. The last one about African American spirituality.
What is African American spirituality to you?
Well, African American spirituality is Jesus. Jesus was introduced in Africa during the time when he was alive here on earth. And it seems even from that time they had a very highly spiritual celebration at their times of being together. They had what you might call a joyous kind of thing, with the dancing and the music and all of that. That's, to me, the African background of spirituality. Not being able to express yourself in words and in tears, in shouts and joys and all of that. That, to me, is the African American spirituality.